Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Blizzard ANZ Twitch channel for the official launch of the ANZ Heroes of the Storm HGC preseason qualifiers. Thank you so much for being here. I know a lot of preparation has gone into this behind the scenes between GameStar and Blizzard, and thank you for sharing it with us because this is where it's at. You're here because you have missed it over the season break, and now it is time to jump into it. Who will be the team that will auto-qualify into the Premier Division alongside Nomiya, Crimson, and Outlaws, with Darksided unable to field their Core 3 roster and unfortunately were unable to retain their spot. But who will it be? We have 15 teams that have made their way into this preseason qualifier, and I tell you what, it is one of the biggest tournaments that we've had here for a Heroes comp in the ANZ region, so it brings a little tear to my eye, a proud one at that. But my name's Kitfox. We have got a massive crew behind the scenes tonight. Crisis is your producer. The tournament admin is Avexium. He's the one who is liaising with all the players, making sure everything is in shipshape to get the games underway. And the casters, of course, are Skimmy and Vandy. You know, the OG crew is back. But later on, during the preseason qualifiers, we will also be featuring the casts of GL Phoenix as well as Daddy Disconcur. So we've got a lot planned for you tonight. Like I mentioned, it is the preseason qualifiers. It's going to be a round-robin format, and it will take place over the course of the next 4 weeks with teams vying for a spot. Just a little PSA, Blaze is actually banned tonight, but the new reworked Tyrael is allowed. So let's jump into it without further ado. Going to introduce you to your casters for game number 1. It's going to be Downfall going up against Saboteur, and the ones that will be taking you through, serenading you through your journey into Blizzard's HGC qualifiers. I'm talking about Skimmy and Vandy. So welcome, guys. Let's get it on.
That's the one there, Kurt Fox. Yeah, Vandy, it's been a long time coming. Obviously, we had the pre-train to the preseason earlier on in this year, but this is where it all starts off officially for 2018. The teams are ready. We've got the players logging in right now, and we're going to find out which 5 teams over the next 4 weeks have enough determination, skill, and aptitude to play with the best.
I think Vandy has, Vandy unfortunately has actually has dropped out there. So that's good old ANZ quality internet for you. Hey, Skimmy, let's be honest, it wouldn't be an ANZ cast without a few connection issues, be it the old 323 minute, just be making its way back. But it's here in the caster's desk. I don't know how I feel about this.
You know what it feels like? It feels a little bit like my love life, mate. You know, you're trying to open it with a cheeky one line and they just walk away from the table awkwardly. In this case, you can just disconnect, give it the old plug pull, and yeah, nobody's saying that. Don't worry. But Kid Fox, worst case scenario, mate, you're swabbed up. I've got the HGC shirt ready to rock and roll. You've got the suit on. You're looking marvelous at that as well. So if it comes down to it, mate, we can rock the mic together.
Definitely keen, mate. Definitely keen. But we may as well get into a little bit of what we were going to talk about a little bit later on. It is going to be a Premier Division as well as an Open Division. So this is the preseason qualifiers to see who will be taking the qualifying spot into Premier. But if you do want to get your team in on this, you can, because the Open Division will actually be run during the week as well. So if you don't make it to Premier, like I said, get your team together, get into the Open Division, and just have a crack. It's going to be a similar structure to last year in terms of a Swiss bracket format, and the top 2 will be promoted to Premier in Phase 2. It is going to be set over 2 phases this year as well, Skimmy. So Phase 1 and Phase 2, as opposed to the 4 seasons that we're used to having.
Yeah, no, I think that's going to be kind of cool. I mean, there's definitely been a lot of anxiety going into the season as to what things could really sort of like look like. I answered a brief interview before for Heroes ANZ, kind of just along the lines of, I mean, look, guys, this is getting more towards the end goal of what we've been trying to achieve for such a long time, right? Is having a proper league, having the structure behind it, the ability to actually make it overseas. Now, yes, it's not going to be the dream of being able to go straight to, say, your BlizzCons, your Western Clashes, but I feel as if you try and view it from that very optimistic angle, you get to win in Sydney, so you get to win your own nationals. Then you're going to be battling against the minor regions. You can then prove that you are the strongest minor region, so that's 2 victories. Then after all of that, you're making it to the biggest stage possible to verse your giants like your MVP Blacks, your Fnatic. So I think there's definitely a lot to consider. It's all on that sort of phrasing and and just the way you view situations. So I'm looking forward to it. And as you say, 4 weeks of the qualifiers, that then does lead into the championship itself. And we're going to have 8 teams that, well, the competition is going to be that much higher than what we saw in those 4 seasons last year.
I'm actually really looking forward to that one, Skimmy, and we're just getting the whispers coming through now that Vandy's just having a few issues and that we will be rocking the mic, you and I, mate. So let's get that one underway. So I'll just need an invite to the lobby. We'll get that one rocking and a rolling. But like I said, there's so much going on tonight. We've got plenty of teams. We've got, Moops, former Darkside, is making his way back into the scene. He said he was retired. He's made his way back in. And who knows, mate? Maybe he'll snatch up one of those qualifying spots and have a crack at the Latin America over in the Intercontinental Clash.
Yeah, no, I saw a bit of a jab before just on Twitter about it, saying, I can't actually wait to see when we beat Moops. And that was from Happy. So, these are old teammates that did go to BlizzCon together. Now they're looking to try and see what they can do. But I've got the ready up from both teams. So 3, 2, and 1. We're going to press that button and we're going to kick off the official 2018 Circuit Kit, Fox. We're on Dragonshy. If you know me, you know I love this map. And I cannot wait to crack it off. Not Vandy, but the second in command, it is none other than Kitbox.
And the first 2 teams that are going to be going head-to-head is going to be Downfall versus Saboteur. So the coin flip is going over to the red guys, and they're going to have first ban.
Now, obviously, during this off-season, a long break at that, there have been a few different changes. We've seen numerous heroes enter the Nexus as well, the likes of Alex Straza, Hanzo, and most recently Blaze. Now, Blaze is banned for the meantime, so don't be too concerned about seeing how he's going to affect the meta, but definitely Hanzo is the talking point. And the Shimada brothers is what you can see right now, both Genji and Hanzo. This has always been a very conflicting point in the heroes community about just how much influence Overwatch heroes tend to have in this game. The likes of D.Va and Xayah really out of the mix right now. But there's a point in time where you could say Tracer, Lucio, Genji, to name a few, are just outright that much higher than the rest of the heroes in selection.
They are. There's been a lot of chat going on in ANZ, a lot of chat that's been going on in Reddit as well, Skimmy. And, like you said, Tracer's mobility is insane. You've got Genji's mobility that's crazy. That's why he's taken off the board here. Hanzo had himself a little bit of a nerf. He sort of bullied his way into the meta because of that Shield Breaker Arrows talent. But that was then taken away from him. But still, he is able to deal massive amounts of damage, be it that Scatter Arrow build or be it that Stormbow build. If you complete the talent, you can deal massive chunks from afar.
And that's a very interesting one. Downfall did go for the Genji, but Saboteur took such a damn long time to confirm on that Hanzo. Obviously, a few different options you can go for. Still the likes of Greymane, a Sonya, to name a few. But what really is still in the pecking order? You still got the likes of Gul'dan, fantastic from the mage department to try and do what Greymane can excel at. And what is that? Everything, right? You've got poke, you've got sustained damage, you've got kill pressure, you've got merc pressure. So when you find heroes that are in the meta, and people can get very upset about meta, especially when it comes to Hero League, it's meta for a reason. They have so many innate sort of synergies and strategies. This is why a hero like Greymane can be picked quite easily and blindly at that in a first pick role, because you can draft anything around him to do well with. Now, a couple of options to consider on the reflection of that with the side of Saboteur. They could go for a Lucio. Lucio is arguably a stronger support in the game right now, so I wouldn't be surprised. But they could pair that with an ETC or an Arthas. Eve would do quite nicely at shutting down the Greymane and making sure that guy cannot be the hyper carry that we know and love him for. And that's what they do go for. The Arthas and the Lucio. Fantastic response. You lagged out a little bit there for me, Kitfox. So
apologies, mate. I am, so apologies, mate. I was saying Lucio is a fantastic pick on top of the Arthas. Again, you don't really show too much when you go for that pick. Arthas is always meta, like you said, for a reason. That very solid pick. He's ridiculous on the front line. He's a massive, massive tank. He's got huge amounts of crowd control with that Frozen Tempest, with that Howling Blast. And he just does ridiculous amounts of bully pressure on that front line. Interesting to note, Skimmy, Sonya is still actually remaining on the board.
Yeah, so definitely Sonya is that talking point. And you'd almost wonder if that's the direction now that the boys of Downfall do decide to go for. When it comes to Sonya in that top lane, there's a few different ideas in mind. You obviously have Dehaka for the global pressure, but Malthael, for the most part, is the king of that top lane. How do you shut him down? well, generally speaking, that is range damage. You're looking at the likes of Junkrat, even Zagara in Once Upon a Time. But there's ETC. ETC far too good right now in this meta, far surpassing any other tank, be it the likes of Muradin, Diablo, or Johanna. So ETC making sure they lock that one in before it can be banned away, which is what we're into now. But the interesting pick, sort of the flavor, the month, the flair, is the Jaina. We don't commonly see the Jaina. Now, I'm really curious to see how they try and flesh things out here. If they are going to go for a very sort of old school traditional comp, which was, you Ring of Frost into a Void Prism. Don't really see the Void Prism too much nowadays, but Mosh Pit into Ring of Frost, still very, very scary.
Yeah, you often see the Nerazim talent picked, and now the Jaina. I like the Jaina because of the range that she offers. That allows her to sort of take it back onto the Arthas and just sort of say, you know what, you want to get on that front line, I'm going to just poke you away, build up those stacks, and once I hit that talent spike, it's going to be a tough time for you and the rest of your team. Now, the second ban phase over for the blue team, they're hovering Uther now, Skimmy.
Yeah, they are hovering the Uther ban, and rightly so. I think this is really the threat of what I was kind of discussing before. They realised that, hey, if you put a Divine Shield on any of those three that Downfall has so far, it finds value. They aren't looking for sustained fights. They're looking for bursts. I mean, look at Greymane and Jaina. They want to kill you, and they want to kill you quickly. Because on the flip side of that, what does Lucio excel at? Being very, very slippery and allowing his team to play in that same manner. He wants to jump around and cause all types of havoc. And the interesting point is the Malthael ban. So that is arguably the strongest melee counter that is allowed. Obviously, Blaze does add a spanner into the works for that argument. But that does give a lot of control now to the Saboteur boys as to how they want to try and control this top lane.
So it's going to go over to their double pick. They really have to answer something here. I mean, that Jaina or the Greymane, doesn't matter who you send up, they're going to be able to bully that one out. I mean, they still need a frontline, a melee damage as well as that range damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something like the Valor come out. I mean, Dragonshire, that multi-shot build is great for creating, that zoning potential. Even the Kael'thas, you mean that Phoenix. You throw down the Phoenix god, Alari comes out and just creates that massive zone. It makes your opponent make a decision. Do we actually run through it, through that choke point, take a fair chunk of damage? Maybe it'll cost us a Lucio a sound barrier if the Downfall guys are going to pick it. But that's another one they could go for. There it is, Gul'dan, that mage damage at range, going to stack up those quests. And once he hits those talent spikes, Gul'dan can be extremely dangerous at controlling those points. Echoed Corruption, coming back and forth across, it's really going to struggle. And I mean, it's really going to struggle for Downfall. And they still need to pick their healer.
Yeah, man, this is absolutely fantastic. You can really sort of sell the dynamic really of the draft, and we discussed at the very start what the two top in their respective roles, both Greymane and Gul'dan. That now means that both teams have these excellent hyper carries to not only offer wave clear, but to actually find those kills. What's cool about Gul'dan being paired with Arthas and Lucio, Gul'dan is a very low mobility hero, completely the opposite of what Greymane can do. So by allowing this mobility factor to be amplified for him, he can find that much more value. Now, Arthas is going to be looking to lock people in place. That guarantees Fell Flames, Corruptions, getting a lot of value. But what we can tell from this Anub'arak is that the Arthas will most likely, I'd almost guarantee really at this stage, is going to be their solo laner in the top side. We commonly see the matchup between top lane, be it Arthas and a Sonya, but they decide to go for the Leoric instead, which I quite respect. That does give them the entombs. If ETC does whiff, they've always got the way to lock these members in place, like the Lucio and like that Gul'dan. Pair that with the Stukov, and suddenly you have a disgusting composition. Slide, entomb, you silence, you are going to die one way or another.
And it's not only the silence, Skimmy, because the Saboteur guys have actually picked a massive dive-heavy comp. Once ETC takes that crowd surfer talent, he'll be going over terrain, getting in, and then smacking people back into the team. Couple that with a Leoric going deep as well, and then the Greymane getting in with that Dark Flight. I mean, that healing pathogen at close range like that, and especially if Stukov goes for that lurking arm build, the pathogen can just do its thing, and he can just sit there, silencing you out into an entomb. It's nasty. You called it. It's filthy.
And this is really cool. This is good draft adaptation. And from the boys of Saboteur, in the end, they realized that, look, if we do get locked in place by somebody like an ETC or Leoric, we are in a world of trouble. Let's pick somebody nimble. Let's pick somebody that can jump out and cause a threat to potentially dissuade them from doing that. Because what is the weakness of ETC? He's extremely squishy. He offers a lot of CC, but there has to be a drawback to that. There has to be some form of weakness, and that is his health ball. So if they can burn through that, if they can slow down his engage, then this is going to be a game on our hands. Two comps, two very different compositions. Fantastic drafting to kick off the 2018 circuit. My name is Skimmy. We've got Kitfox joining me as we kick off the 2018 circuit. This, over the next 4 weeks, determines who will be joining Nomiya, Crimson, and the Outlaws to play in the Premier League. 8 teams, all the prizes up for grabs, and the chance to represent your country abroad. There's a lot on the line here, Kitfox, and it starts right about now.
Let's get it on, ladies and gentlemen. Skimmy called it. Game number 1 is going to be Downfall versus Saboteur. Saboteur on blue, Downfall on red. It's going to be Curiosity on Anubarak, Blindside on Arthas, James on Gul'dan, Crazometer playing Lucio, and Spazzo on Lunara.
That is the one. Magic Gnome will be playing Gramin, the captain. Superfish in the top lane on Leoric. Flays rocking the Downfall tag, looking all professional, is on ETC. Shrek is love, and Shrek is very good at Stukov. That's why he's playing that one. And finally, the childhood sweetheart, it is Konya. He is on the Jaina. Now we are just waiting for the ANZ internet to do its thing and load up this lobby. It's looking like we are just about to get there. And when we do, we're going to see how these very meta comps actually duel things out. Now, these are compositions you can draw inspiration from these major regions like Europe, like North America, but it comes down to execution, obviously. So I'm really curious to see how much preparation these teams have put into this and how seriously they take this qualifier, because this should be a good indicator as to how their campaign going forward should pan on out.
Talking meta, Skimmy, it is exactly that. Greymane going straight for the cocktail build to start things off. Perfect Aim is going to be the talent, and there really is no surprise there. People pick Greymane because of exactly that, the cocktail poke potential and what it can do. Once you hit that Incendiary Elixir talent and you stack up those 15 hits, it's ridiculous how much damage Greymane can poke, and then, if he wants to, getting close, go for the kill. We used to see a lot of go for the throat, but it's been Cursed Bullet a fair bit lately, which I like, because especially when you're going up against an Arthas, against an Anubarak, you're going to want that percentage damage, and you want it to deal chunks and rip shreds off that front line.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an argument for both ultimates, and that's something that's really become quite cool about Heroes of the Storm, because for a while there were certain heroes that there was just a definitive ult every single day of the week. So to have that option now, do you want to be a tank shredder? Do you want to sort of dissuade their aggression? Or do you want to be the carry, the harder carry that jumps in, goes aggressive, looks for those kills, and jumps out of harm's way? So there's a couple of options for them to consider. Something that's really drawn my attention straight away is Eternal Hunger being picked up by Arthas here on level 1. This basically makes his Frostmourne weapon that much more stronger. So he, in some kind of term, not necessarily being a full-on tank, he becomes a very strong bruiser on along the lines of a Sonya.
I like it because if you're going to go up in a lane against Leoric, you want that staying potential, and that is what Eternal Hunger provides. I mean, Leoric is a little bit mobile when he goes into the Wraithwalk, but the thing that's really going to bother Blindside here on the Arthas is the fact that Drain Hope is just going to chunk him away. That's another percentage-based talent. So, unfortunately for the boys on Saboteur, they're going to have a tough time on the front line, but we're 15 seconds away from the first Shrine phase, and with military precision, we see Downfall. They're going to take that first Night Camps and get it marching on down top.
And I absolutely love this shot call. This is fantastic. Arthas, whilst he's beefy, whilst he can shut down auto-attack centric heroes, his wave clear is pretty lackluster. Compound that with Leoric, Drain Hope, and the swing of the hammer, and he absolutely will bully out that lane. Speak of the devil, Arthas is already down to half. With that Night Camp as well, the spell armor at Grunson, that wave is pretty much too strong for Blindside to deal with on his own. He's going to have to use that tap, but he's not going to have much to do with that one. Downfall playing this one fantastically, allowing ETC to control the bot lane and not be punished. They are, despite all that, still ahead of XP.
James on the Gul'dan is just going to play Bully here, and Konya on the Jaina. They're just going to play tit for tat, the old mage range game. James is now getting bullied. In comes Magic Gnome. Is he going to take him down? No, he goes in with the Darkfly, but all that does is zone him out, and it allows Konya to secure that first Dragon Knight, and Downfall with the advantage here. Curiosity's taking a fair bit of damage. Oh, good triple impale.
Very low on health, and automatically they are on the back foot. And this is the aggression that you would expect from a composition like Downfall have. They are looking for the picks, and they're looking to try and scale up as best as they can going into this late game, especially for the likes of Leoric. Even Jaina, for the most part, Jaina will eventually start to one-shot you whilst there is a lot of wave clear on the side of Saboteur. It's a case of them trying to mend the wounds. The top lane, look at that. Yeah. Still, that Night Camp survives. Blindside is down to 140. Has to use that Death Coil on himself. But I mentioned that wave being so strong. It absolutely is. It forces James to come for a rotation, hampering their side lanes even more.
So the DK still going hammer and tong on that mid lane. You can see Downfall with a comfortable experience advantage, about to hit that level 7 talent tier. And that is when they'll be looking to pull that trigger skimmy. They'll be looking to get it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a power spike for them, the level 7, especially for Greymane there, allowing him to get some stacks. The Incendiary Elixir, as it is called. Allowing him to shoot from afar and definitely go for those quick scope snipes. Combining that with the likes of Jaina as well, with the Ice Lance. To be making sure that she is never in a situation where she can be jumped upon. Their most ideal target would be the likes of the Nubarak with his Impale and his Burrow Charge in. A direct counter towards mages in most setups. But now we see the Nightcap being picked up in the bottom lane. A 4-man rotation coming across, looking to try and push this one through. Passive spell armor given to the team as they stand within that wizard's range. And it's a case of Saboteur doing what they can to try and chill.
Go off. I'm having a few issues. I apologise for that one. ANZ Internet, ladies and gents.
I'll carry on the show for you, mate, as we get started. Back in the top lane for the meantime, it's Superfish up against Blindside. The rotation does come through, however. Konya's made a lovely little one at that. Blindside is very low, expends the last of his mana, and it's not going to be enough. He does get taken down. The rotation is clean. Magic Gnome was there for the insurance, and now James playing very aggressively. Once upon a time, a bit of trivia for you guys at home. This guy back in Alpha, when I used to play professionally, was an Illidan one-trick. An ANZ player known for his prowess on that hero, but times have changed. And he's had to grow with the meta as the Shrines now do spawn in 20 seconds. A healthy 1-level lead for the first blood advantage in favour of Downfall Gaming there, Kit Fox.
Yeah, the Saboteur lads, now that they're on the equal talent tier, they won't be too phased, if you excuse the pun there, about getting into an engagement, into a little bit of a scrap here as we get into the second Dragon Knight phase. Again, with Precision Skimmy, you can see the camps being taken and secured by Downfall Gaming. This time it's going to be siege camps. The Shrines are active. Stukov going to comfortably take that bottom camp. Meanwhile, at the top line, it's still going to be Superfish going toe-to-toe with Blindside in a good old brawl for that point. But I think for now, that one's going to go over to Downfall, but Saboteur answer back. They rotate bot, and they secure that one.
And they need to as well, because for the most part, they have been a punching bag in this game, and it's a clock that is ticking away. So dangerously close now for level 10 on the side of Downfall. They were playing surgically with those mercenary camps. As soon as that night camp in the top right was up, bang, they took it. Arthur's down again. The rotation is clean, and they are making sure that Arthas, yes, you might be strong in team fights, but there's not much you can do when you're out in the fight. That's the power slide in as the stage dive comes from afar. Yeah, looking for James. He has no mobility. It's that weakness. We talk about Cruzometer. He can amp it up, but James is draining life. And draining does not enough. The water elemental. The snowman takes him on down. A 2-man killing squad as the grappling hook pushes back Curiosity to Narnia and beyond. And just like that, it's 9-11. It's not being bombed, but I tell you what, 3 people just down like that. Pretty scary regardless, Get Fox.
Well, the DK is about to drop some big bombs. It's Konya again. Will Curiosity be able to get there? No. Flaze goes in with a fantastic knockback, allowing Konya to secure that one again. And Downfall Gaming, they continue to aggress here. DK's going to get a push on into the mid lane. Will they go for the split like they did last time? No, they're just going to run it down. Superfish still up in that top lane. That is his home. He has not left that lane for a very long time at all tonight, Skimmy. And it looks as though they're going to pull the pin on the attack down mid. They're going to rotate down bot, but Saboteur are switched on.
And I mean, I really actually like what Saboteur had as their composition, but you know, Arthas is not being given any breathing room to allow him to become a 5-man roamer to look for these dream team fights to actually accentuate what Lucio brings to the table. Now, what's something really interesting to bring is, hey, I was completely incorrect about these ultimate choices. It's not Entomb, it's March. It is go for the throat. They've gone for stage dive. They've gone for water elite. Every ultimate that I called was wrong. They have switched things up. They're deciding we're going to rock what we like to do. And so far it is working with a 2-level healthy lead.
Maybe they took offense to us calling them too meta skimmy. This is 2018 and they don't want to be construed into that umbrella term. I gotta go off meta, off the rails, and like you said, there is interesting, but one that is on meta is the Cocoon. That is the Horrify as well. The Lunara, like you said, Arthas again getting picked down up in that top lane, and he's having a bit of a bad time, poor old Blindside.
I mean, this guy is just being absolutely bodied. And how many deaths is he on now? Let's have a quick cheeky look. He is down to 3 lives being taken away from his poor soul. And rightfully so, you can see the shock calls being made. There's the Horrified opening things up. A contest has been accentuated here on that camp. It's not going to be enough. They do pick it up. They wish they had a mosh pit right now because there's a lot of people locked in place. Gordon, the first to fall on down. Cocoon is good on sprint. Is enough. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Curiosity is low. Oh! Going to fall on down. However, Kitfox, 4 people drop to the floor. And just like that, Downfall Gaming, they are playing clean. Not a single death in their roster.
4 to the floor. Skimmy, I was sure that Downfall Gaming are definitely on top here. Blindside, he's rejoined the fray because he was taken out nice and early. Don't forget, he was not in that fight over the camps. And this is just where they can get Saboteur in a sleeper hold and slowly apply the choke. Go to sleep, they're saying, and they're going to let the minions do the work. They're going to peel back, pushing down that mid tower, potentially get even more of an experience lead. They'll be looking to force that all-important level 16 talent tier. And once they hit that, that is when they start getting scary.
I mean, they're scary enough as it is right now. Kitfox, level 16 just furthers that point. It gets incredibly scary at that point in time. Right now, what are you looking at on this map? A lot of red. A lot of red. Forts are falling across the board now. Mid lane is extremely low, and the same could be said for bottom lane, which is looking like where Downfall are turning their attention to now. They do pick up the night camp. I'm just trying to suss out their rotations. You can still see that the top lane have rotated on down through to mid. So it's interesting to note how they're trying to play this one out. They're in no big hurry, but so far still a 2-level lead with 16 looming, playing for gold.
Make that a 3-level lead as they hit level 15, Skimmy. That healing pathogen from Stukov is doing work, as is the lurking arm. He has gone for one good spread as well, so that just allows him to stay around a little bit longer, pump out a few more pathogens. Once he gets the
We lost you again there, Kitfox. Classic ANZ Internet. So New Zealand once again reigns supreme, bringing the NZ in ANZ. As we look at the top lane, we can see Superfish is going for that 1v1. Magic Gnome has rocked up to the party, but these ghouls are doing a lot of work to make sure that Upper stays alive for as long as he can. What's fantastic against the Greymane, it is an Arthas, but in a 2v1 situation when you got Leok battering away with his mace, swinging the Soul Hammer too, and bringing you down to sweet, sweet justice. That's another death on his board. He is not a happy camper. 10 kills to 0 right now, Kitfox. It's a bit of a sad storyline to go off this one, but they're not all out of harm's way. Level 16 is just about to be picked up, but Saboteur still have a very scary team composition if they can just get that execution off, which is all what we're discussing at the start of this game.
I guess the consolation here, Skimmy, for the Saboteur lads is that they're on level 13. There's nothing worse than being 2 talent tiers down and then trying to be forced into a fight. Now, they can sort of engage, because 13 isn't too bad of a power spike, but 16, that is even more dangerous. And like we've seen all throughout the night, the military-style execution with the camps on the side of the Downfall lads. You've got the Knights marching down top. The Shrines are comfortably taken here at the moment. Gul'dan's actually going to pinch one out from underneath the lads here, and they're going to have to mosey on down and deal with him. But hey, they're sitting pretty with a comfortable 3-level lead.
They've got level 16 right now, and they are looking for a fight. They're going to go to the Death Bridge in the top lane. They're going to try and slow things down. The swing of the hammer followed by the Entomb. Sorry, no, the March of the Black King. 2 people fall to the floor as that stage life ensures that nobody escapes death. Yes, the Horrified came out, but it did not do absolutely anything right there, Kitfox. Now with 2 members down and 16 pressing that advantage, they go for the keep, and arguably the hardest lane to pick them all, and this just opens up so much room.
Yeah, James unfortunately not really timing the Horrify there because it was on top of a fantastic Howling Blast coming out there from Blindside on the Arthas, but the keep is going to fall, and already Downfall Gaming, sorry, not Downfall, they're looking to push on here and looking to be extremely dominant as we get into the Shrines phase. Again, they're just doing the dance now, Skimmy, the 2 to tango, as we see ever so often, but I think this DK just may be the win condition for them here.
Now, as a result of having this keep advantage and having those lanes pressed in, it's a bit of a desperate situation for the lads of Saboteur. You can see Curiosity getting a little bit angsty, a little bit frustrated, saying we need to do something. We're just passively losing this game, guys. So yes, keep is taken down, but there's all the pressure in the world, and especially with a global like the ETC, they can commandeer both top and bot lane. You can see now the Shrines have been illuminated. That's going to allow, if so they desire, Downfall to pick up another dragon and potentially end the game.
The engage is on, and James gets removed from the fight to start things off. Blindside trying to do what he can on the Arthas. Great sound barrier coming in there from Crazometer. The Cocoon is even better on Shrek is Love, and Downfall was switched on. They need their healer back into the action. Spazzo gets taken down as well, but Jaina pays for it at the cost of her life. Blindside and Magic Gnome going at it, and Blindside loses out again. Poor old Arthas goes to 6 deaths, and this DK is looming, and it is going to be picked up from Downfall Gaming as Lucio bites the dust as well. Skimmy, this could be it.
I have no idea what Lucio was thinking right there. He ran away. He was playing almost like the wild goose chase, if you will, down to 200 health. He nearly made it out alive, but he decided to go for the BM disrespect by backing in an open bush. He walks in and goes, a Kinder Surprise, don't mind if I do. The 5th person falls. That is the nail in the coffin. The dragon is picked up, and with that keep being taken down already, Kitbox, this is looking like the game is said and done. 1 kill in the end on towards Konya. It's not the dream, but it is a 17-1 scoreline. What a way to make a statement and say, we are Downfall Gaming, and we are here to party. Keep your eyes peeled on us, because we are going to be bringing the best. The Horrify comes out at the last second. That's going to be the stage dive. He's going to hit the core. And just like that, that is a 1-win advantage in this best of 1 to kick the night off.
Didn't sate your feast. I mean, we have got a lot more games coming your way. 3 more rounds, in fact. But Skimmy, let's not get too ahead of ourselves yet. We need to pick ourselves an MVP for that.
Absolutely, we do indeed. I'd have to give it to Leoric without a shadow of a doubt. That guy did so much work. I mean, obviously there was a lot of parts that went into allowing him to be that bully that he was, but he respected that matchup. They then had the execution to pick up a night camp at like 1 minute, which I've not really too commonly seen in recent times. And they realized what those matchups look like, the weaknesses. And from then on, Arthas finished with 6 deaths. A lot of those were achieved within the first 10 minutes.
They were, I mean, he got bullied by Leoric up in that top lane. I mean, Drain Hope was just wrecking him. Like we talked about, Skimmy, that percentage damage. It wasn't Curse of Bullet because they had it with the Drain Hope on the Leoric, and then he went March and was just able to literally march his way down that top lane and just absolutely wreck anything that came his way with the support of Magic Gnome, who came up on the Grey Main as well. I really like the way Superfish played that one.
Absolutely. So I believe we are going to be jumping into a quick break for 5 minutes as we get ready for round number 2. So thank you so much, all of you that are tuning on in with us on a brand new home. It is the Blizzard ANZ official channel. And we will see you in 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere.